People, good evening. Today, I guess today we finish with Pillars of Eternity 1. There's only Burial Isles left. And we're done. Depends how big the final area is, but
I must say, I'm impressed.
very little is left.
Greetings.
Metal cloak.
Well?
That's it. Final rest at the keep.
Yes.
And we're off to Burial Isles. Don't know how big the last part is, but I hope I can finish it today. I forgot. Just to check the journal. Burial Isles. Burial Isles. Descend the pit. Only Burial Isles left.
Well done. A formidable fortress.
I did everything that exists in a
We
game.
don't build them like this anymore, you know. Not by the sea. Too vulnerable to cannons.
This is gonna be the setup that's gonna finish, I guess. The reason is very simple. I'm way too lazy to switch gear now. For the others. White Marsh was actually huge when you combine both parts. Like half of the main game. Quite huge, the final part. Upgraded their spear. There's nothing left for me to upgrade. I did it all. Can make Duran's staff legendary. Not that he needs it though, he really doesn't need it. Yes. Now the question is what I want to play with a hammer or with a sword.
Yes.
I guess I'll go with a sword. Hammer is way too fucking OP. There is
As
no
you
need to break
wish.
the balance of the game completely. Upgraded what I could. And up we go to the Burial Isles. No, I won't get rid of her because I need to switch gear. There is no need to switch now. Just want to finish with the game. We only need Adair on Burial Isles for his personal quest, I guess, and that's it. And this is where the game ends. Evening, people, good evening.
Well?
Hail, Estramor.
Take me across. The final map.
What is it?
Burial Isle.
This does look like Thaos' kind of place.
Reveal?
Do you remember
water.
when we were children, and the missionaries came to tell us about the gods? They told us we could see them in the stars. I remember when I heard that, I snuck out at night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because I wanted to see them better. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort. I miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Thaos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army. Osionis. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
Slowly now.
Off we go. Wonder if there is any fighting here. Ogra.
Hey.
Uh-huh.
Goddamn barbarians, man. Stacking when you kill barbarians. Lippy. Just
Laying low.
one of the best spells in the game. It is final. I don't know how long it's gonna be though. If it's a shorter, it's gonna be a shorter stream. But that's what's left of the game. Getting a lot. Shades.
Tell me.
Ooh, there's a lot.
Nice and quiet.
I'm just way too strong. Last blade of the White Forge. The famed White Forge of Durgan Battery Blade. The last blade they ever crafted. He was there, I guess, back in vanilla in the final area, so they announced the White Forge DLC. Because let's be real, the blade sucks.
Well?
It's been a very long game. Yeah, I don't know what part of the stream this is. 17, 18, 19. That's a lot of days of playing Pillars.
What? Yes.
I wonder what this is.
I'll go up the stairs once I'm done with the block passage. Let's see what's this.
Light, flame, and sound.
A doorway into the underground tunnel. Staircase goes upwards, leading to a dim passage. On the upper level, light filters through the collapsed ceiling. A wall of piled stones and rubble blocks the way ahead. Clear it with a pry bar. Ceiling is collapsing. Of course, Alot falls behind with bruised ribs. It just to go up instead of here. Whatever. Let's.
Laying low.
Bruised ribs.
Hey.
Shit. OP as fuck.
Fire casts light in dark places. Well?
I'm ready.
It was like a normal difficulty, not like Path of the Damned, but what can you do? This is upscaling Path of the Damned. 3 to might.
Well,
Whew, good thing I sold most of my jewelry. A perfect.
keeping an eye out. Keeping an eye out.
Getting close to the end.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
What does Maneja want?
So you knew this Thaos character ages ago, that right?
To some degree.
And that was what? A few hundred years ago? 1,000? What's that even like, remembering something from so long ago? Well, brace yourself for the day you remember more. That's what's got me thinking about Thaos. Those Delmgon said he remembers everything. I mean, can you imagine? Recalling centuries in perfect detail. Every lost love. Every failed dream. Whatever his mission, he's had a long time to work at it. You ever wonder how that's changed him? Whether Thaos would have chosen this path all those lifetimes ago if he'd known where it would lead?
I can't judge.
That's fair. I'm not defending Thaos. But I know what it's like to carry a burden you can't put down. Which makes me wonder why he's doing it. Other gods told you that he means to strengthen Woodica. But to what end? I suppose you're right.
What is it?
Another turn, Inquisitor. I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused? Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Another turn.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Oh, she ended.
Good thing I sold most of my jewelry.
When you get to the bottom, holler up here. Let me know if it's safe.
Vodica statue. Seems like that's the map. That's how it looks like during the day. Hey.
What is it?
Even better. Some maps in this game look better during night. Some look better during the day. Cities, for me, villages, cities, everywhere where there's light, you know, candles and so on, they look better during night. But these open world maps, like Burial Isle for example, they look better during the day.
Well? As you wish.
Let's jump. A great pit lies in the shadow of the statue of Wudik. No light from the surface reaches the bottom, but even so you catch flickers of a ghostly glow in the depths. A wind from the pit buffets you. It isn't cold, but it raises goose flesh along your arms. The wind carries a whisper, low and sibilant. As you look into the pit, souls gather around you. They encase you in a cloud of essence that swirls around your body while you consider your next move. Jump into the pit. You jump, trusting in the promises of the gods and the power of the souls to bear you safely down. The sudden drop takes your breath away, but the souls catch you, encasing you in a shining, thrumming aura. While they slow your descent, you can still feel that you are falling faster than you should. The essence flowing around you is strong but chaotic. You find yourself drifting toward the wall. Pelagina falls with you for a moment, but seems oddly buoyant during her slow descent, feathers fluttering silently along her arms and the sides of her face. Suddenly her golden eyes grow wide and she shouts, "Look out, the wall." Athletics and resolve. Reach for a companion. You reach out and feel a hand, strong and sure, wrap around your forearm. It tugs you away from the wall just as you feel your toe graze something. You manage to spread your arms and legs into an X, steadying your position at the rate of your descent. You start to feel more comfortable until you notice that Alot is still falling too fast. Alot plummets, flailing out and out of control. You could attempt a rescue, but the ground is approaching fast. It will take a feat of speed and agility to avoid injury. Dive for your companion. The ground is rising fast, you're not quite fast enough. You snatch Alot out of the free fall, but you're unable to regain control over your own momentum in time. You take the brunt of the impact, landing hard against the millennial stones of the Court of the Penitents. Your part is considered high level for the content in Act 4. If you would like, we can upscale. Yes, upscale.
After what seems like an eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. Their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
Well, that went better than I expected. Everyone all right? No shattered knees?
Laying low.
Good. Just
I got
me.
bruised ribs.
Did anyone bring a ladder?
Braid Iman. Council of Stars. White March done. All quests done, all tests done. There's only memories of the ancients. That's because it's a very dark game,
What do you suppose that bally thing is?
and it adds to immersion. Because it's dark like that. Will I try Stalker 2? I don't know. I really don't know.
What do you suppose that bally thing is? That's not very helpful.
No prisoners!
They're not scaled hard enough.
What is it? Well?
Ranimat.
Be on seat.
Of course. Margaren's fire casts light in dark places.
I wonder what this is. Hey, Well, keeping an eye out. The work of a moment. As you wish. Shh. Hey. Well.
I'll see what's ahead.
I got well practiced for combat in the last 100 hours in a game. Not
That's
even thinking
unusual.
anymore
Yes.
what to do and in what order. Daybreak. You can destroy spirits on hit or a crit.
What is it?
Beautiful final dungeon.
I shall be discreet.
Tell me.
And what does the flame reveal?
I'm here.
What is it? The work of a moment. Nice and quiet.
Go to the same spot.
Lead the way.
Still a lot of animals. Disengage.
I shall deal with this one. That's
Your aim is some improvement.
as you wish. I'll see what I can do.
Well?
The work of a moment.
You are.
You've come back. I had thought to have set you on the right path ages ago. Or did I merely fail a second time? You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here?
It seems I got unfinished business.
I'd hoped after our last discussion you would find what you sought. Has it eluded you all this time? I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Thaos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice.
He diverted them from the cycle. He seeks to empower Wudik and to blame Animency for the damage he's caused.
After all this time, he would still stand against the tide.
You knew me when Thaos did. Something I need to know about the time.
I will tell you what I remember.
Something about a lifetime my soul can't let go of. I need to know what it is, and I'm running out of time. I see moments from that life. Of you of the Inquisition of Thaos.
I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true.
And that's what?
That the gods aren't real.
I dreaded the idea from the moment the Delimgon suggested it. And yet, it almost feels like a relief. She's not serious.
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This is petty retribution.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
How did you discover this?
The Anguithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them, and in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it'd be.
This is why you started your own fate.
I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. Let them decide what to do. That was my faith. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public, exposing their parlor tricks. In time, their following became mine.
Who created these gods and for what?
They were conceived by Engwith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Thaos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Anguithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone. It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith.
Is it true?
You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Thaos directs these souls, you will see for yourself, as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own. What if all the tragedy, all the persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
That's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles for people.
The power of the gods is undeniable. The truth of the story they weave is not. What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
I have seen with my own eyes the deceptions of my goddess. The Watcher has shown me as much. But it was not until now that I understood how truly desperate she was. The depths of her deception.
You speak of her deceptions, but what of your own? Was it her words that led you down your path? Or was it the absence of her words? A gap that you filled with your own broken thoughts? What if you had always been alone, without guidance?
Well, as poorly as I've chosen my guides, I suppose it would be a comfort to know that I'm free of them.
The freedom has always been. It was the guidance that was the illusion. What if even mastery over all things cannot answer the most basic of questions?
I stopped asking those questions long ago. It is enough to care for those we love with the time we have in this life.
What if no god had the authority to relieve our burdens or absolve our sins?
Well, then I guess we'd have to seek those things from people. And that's the hard part, isn't it? It's easy to close your eyes and pray to a god. Harder to open them and look into the face of someone you've hurt. Or someone who's hurt you. I spent a long time looking for a miraculous solution. But you can't undo the past any more than you can unspill a glass of wine. All you can do is move forward and try for better.
Many are the names of those who have died in despair, waiting for the help of the gods.
All we can do is endure.
Easier to endure when you at least know what you're up against.
The wheel would seem to grant us little choice in the matter. Yet surely we are capable of more than mere endurance. Surely when the truth is laid bare to all, this suffering can truly be overcome. I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it?
I don't think it makes much difference either way.
I often wonder that myself. If things had gone differently, if the world had taken my faith instead of the Engwithan's faith, would it truly be what I had envisioned? I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand. I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember?
Don't think I had a reason, just did it.
All these years thinking about it, I don't think I ever imagined you did it without cause. This changes things. Good. Good. The things I taught, the things I believed, I needed to hear that. I needed to know it wasn't because...
Because what? In my opinion, matters so much to you.
We knew little of each other before you arrived at my camp. You might have been anybody. which is why your choice meant everything. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who?
You're never gonna be able to convince everyone of anything. True or not, there'll always be dissent.
I expected dissent, but I needed to know that true faith would prevail. Perhaps I've been wrong to place so much importance on one person's actions. It was all I could do to feel like there was an answer. Even knowing what you've told me, some part of me knows it doesn't truly answer what I wished to know, nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made?
It wasn't me who made that choice. I bear no responsibility for it.
At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish, but now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Thaos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Thaos himself will satisfy your needs. Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know.
Are you bound here until the end of time?
In a matter of speaking. This is Braeth Yamen, the court of the Penitents. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the site of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition, but time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Thaos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then.
Better on their side than Woodica's.
Better to be on no side at all. Woodica may be the most dangerous of the gods, but make no mistake. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing. But these souls, these forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end.
Why don't you repent? You could be free of this place.
Last time someone asked me that, I was bound to an iron wheel with a broken spine. There are many things I've come to doubt about the choices I made in life, but that trial was my one moment of certainty. Even without a chorus of gods to tell me I had been right, the gods need to be reminded that we have a spirit, and that spirit is proof against their power. They have the power to manipulate and confuse and ruin us, but not to change our will. I will remain here until the world crumbles and fades from existence with joy in my heart, knowing I've shown them what they truly are.
Was the sun and shadow? She doesn't want to tell. How is it you speak Aedarian? She doesn't even speak. Do you know what it is that I need from Thaos?
I could not say for sure, but you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world.
Why has Thaos done all of this?
He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances. That's why he's always favored Werglia. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Thaos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he. If Thaos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Werglia was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours.
How can I get Thaos to tell me what I need to know?
You will not find a more resolute being on all of Eora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. But I see you have become a watcher in this life. Perhaps in defeat, when he can no longer defend himself, you might learn something from him. Thaos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again.
Your continued existence is a proof of the god's dominion over all of us. I can disintegrate your soul, make you cease to exist.
Your soul deserves an end to its suffering. I'm sorry I wasn't able to grant it myself. May it come to you swiftly. If ever we should meet again, in this life or any other, I hope to find you at peace.
We'll spit it up now.
Of course.
A lot of options.
I can only get after all. I will tell you that I became. It shook them. I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why I all the good. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made? At first, yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, in a... But these souls, the gods need his work. That you will not. Theos will not wait for you.
What if I
do
say,
not
if
catch
you
up to him
repent, you
now,
could
you will never find him
join
again.
me and deal the final blow against Thaos?
If I repent, all I have done has meant nothing.
She doesn't want to repent. I can disintegrate your soul. I respect your wishes. You can convince her with enough of resolve, perception, or intellect, which I don't care. I mean, I could easily with consumables, but no.
Your soul does, if ever we...
Will ever so be.
Well,
I'll see what's ahead.
That's my choice. See how it's gonna end. What?
Doesn't that just beat all? Here I was, wondering all this time whether all these terrible things were people's fault or the gods. Turns out they might be the same thing. Wonder how things would have gone different 15 years ago if the Raid Sarens had been told their god was made in some forge or kiln someplace. Would we still have gone to war?
No point in wondering about what we'll never know.
I could see the rebellion still happening, but I don't know that they would have invaded. I don't know. When Woden left for war, we, had a fight. As brothers will. About him going off to war. He was set on it. My parents warned him. They said you get a new country with every trip across the border, but your god, you only get the one. Me? I didn't know who was right. All I knew was I didn't want him to go. It's the same for families as it is for gods. You only get the one. I said every vicious thing I could think of, trying to change his mind. He brushed it off. Just got me madder, of course, him being so calm. He said I should come with him, but he'd understand if I didn't want to. I told him he'd better be able to face his god one day and answer for what he'd done. He said he'd keep that in mind. And then, he was gone.
Derek, thanks for the 8 months, Derek.
By the time I'd cooled off, months had passed. One morning it dawns on me that my brother always knew better than me. If he was so sure of what he was doing, then I should be there with him. I packed my things and was on the road that same morning. Of course, what I didn't know then was he'd already changed his mind. By that time, he was dead on that field.
So if you left him... If you left with him, you know why he changed his mind?
If I'd have left with him, we'd both be dead, so... I don't know why I bother thinking about it. I found my own way in the end, and it wasn't my brother's, and it wasn't my god's. I don't know if it was right. But I couldn't abide what Weidwen was doing to his own. God or not. I don't regret it. Whether Weidwen was Aothis, well, it hardly seems to matter after what we just heard. And all these questions I've been trying to figure out. I think I just miss my brother.
You think he went to Weidwen because of what you said to him?
Crossed my mind. You live in a place like Gilded Vale. You don't have a whole lot else to do other than think about things you don't want to think about. I hope that wasn't it. I hope he went there because it's what he thought was right. But it seems I'm not meant to know. Still one more mess we gotta straighten out. Come on then. I still owe you one.
Well? Yes.
Far away from that
So,
convincing.
it's
As a
true.
barbarian.
The gods are a sham that people have followed for thousands of years.
Sun and shadow. What a
We've
lot.
been lied to. Our whole lives, and many lives before that. And it's led us to put our faith in a pantheon of gods that never deserved it in the first place.
What difference does it make? People will be what they are, whether or not they're gods to believe in.
I'm surprised to hear you say this. It seems that much harm comes from imposing authority where perhaps none is needed. We've seen the atrocities that members of the Leaden Key have committed without even understanding why or for whom they act.
For once, the half-souled elf is right.
Yeah,
To live in
soul
ignorance
though.
is to allow the gods to have their way with us.
I've also been thinking, there won't be much left of Thaos by the time you're done with him, if I know how you operate. That will leave the Leaden Key headless. Perhaps it's best it stays that way.
No, someone should fill that role.
This is unexpected coming from you. Why keep it going?
If you're in charge of Leaden Key, at least I can know they'll stop trying to kill me.
Then let's face Thaos. When this is all over, I'll remember what we've been through. I'll see the Leaden Key transformed into a stronger, better guide for Kith. And I won't make the mistakes Thaos did.
What is it?
Of course.
Down we go. Search for Thaos.
I'll see what I can find.
Sun and shadow.
I can't see much, but I hear a noise like a pig choking on wet feed. So, I guess Durance is breathing at least. those surprises, aren't you?
We light our own path now, Watcher.
I don't suppose you could make a few bridges the same way, hmm?
Can you do that again? I had something in my eye. I missed most of it.
Funny thing how they leave stuff and the game is about to end. And Gwittian Shade.
What?
Hey.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
Shadow Drake and then Gwittian Shades. Immune. Okay.
Well, well,
Keeping an eye out.
We'll see. I don't know what's gonna be the consequences for Pillars 2. I gave him to be a leader of the Leaden Key. So,
You should see this.
holy shit, 15% attack speed.
well,
If it's like that, I'll play a wizard then. And I'm gonna dump all of in Pillars 2. I don't know, we'll see. Veil.
You understand the value of a mystery watcher. A buried scroll, a hidden truth. These are my ways. You unravel a thread, Watcher. One you have lost and discovered over generations. And following it to its end has only brought you back to the beginning.
Speak plainly. Another riddling god. Fantastic.
A nebula of souls, blind and brimming with potential. The answer to Woodika's question and the beginning of yours. What would you do with them?
I take it you got something in mind. Scatter them across existence. Their destination known to neither god nor mortal. Let them be lost again. New answers to new riddles. What end would that serve?
No end, Watcher. That is the purpose.
And what will happen to the souls?
None know. They could end up anywhere in the realms of gods or mortals, whole or divided. Discovering them again and charting their course through the ether will be a new mystery. That is a word for endings, and this is but a crossroads. Even I do not know what you would choose.
Veil is chaotic. He wants chaos.
I'll see what I can find.
Jump. Sprained. Twisted ankle.
Hey,
Well,
Be cautious.
Ring of
Be
overseeing.
constant. Eyes.
Twisted deflection. Прикиналось.
yes.
hey. Hey. Architect worth and yes.
But
Plunge the orb into orbit.
Aim could use some improvement.
Laying low.
Court.
I'll see what I can find.
See where the shit leads to. This is the final phase. It does look like.
Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
That's Mirwald. Finish with the previous map first.
Lead the way. Tell me.
As you wish.
And what does the flame reveal?
Finish. Final phase now.
Oh, and if I find something good, you can have half.
Are
Stealth
you
and
ready
reroll.
to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen? I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well. I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders.
You are ready to give a confession?
I am ready to hear one from you.
The end. It was phenomenal run. It was really a phenomenal run. We did everything, all quests, all side content, all tasks, all bounties. Absolutely everything that exists in a game. And we're gonna check the final stats before I finish the game. So, the least I played as deceptive and cruel, the most as honest, rational, benevolent, and clever. In Defiance Bay, I'm moderately mixed. Overwhelmingly good Gilded Vale, Village, Deerford, Twin Elms, Hero, Knights of the Crucible, overwhelmingly good, The Dozens eccentric, faintly mixed. Dominels hate me. These are the tribes in Twin Elms, I don't give a fuck about it. Total enemies defeated 4,474. With Thaos it's gonna be 75. Most powerful enemy defeated, Brinlord. Alot the most time in party. Most enemies killed would be me. Most total damage done would be Alot. Highest single target damage would be me. Most crits would be Alot. Most hits is Durance. Most damage taken is me. And I'm very close to Alot's damage. Very, very close. Considering he's a wizard with big AoE and I'm a barbarian with single target damage, it's absolutely nuts. So the biggest value is actually on me as a watcher. And I also got, what was it? Sever the Soul. As the final upgrade through conversation. Steps to the Wheel is the final one. Paralyze. A glimpse into the afterlife by displacing their souls momentarily paralyze and leave them sick. That was the last skill we got. That's it.
Yes.
Lead the way.
I could rest before fighting.
Yes.
So we're going healthy, without injuries. Memory memories of the ancients.
Keeping an eye out. You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
Was Yavara telling the truth?
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
What does the machine behind you do?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
All these statues, who are they of?
They are monuments to Woodika's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
What is this place?
We are in a sanctum holy to Woodika. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
Is Inquisition a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
Did you lie to me when you said the gods would absolve my sins? There's nothing. There are no gods.
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them. How did you find it?
I didn't, it was Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
She loved you.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Her talent and intellect were too great for her to live as your servant.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it, as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own? You worshipped Aethys, did you not?
Your spies are good. What gave me away? The cape?
Yet when your god needed you the most, you chose your country.
We were being invaded. Not by anyone who was acting like a god.
Then I should think your hometown gave you a hero's welcome when you returned.
They made cake. Hard to blame people for losing faith when it's the gods who are misbehaving.
The gods argue over how best to prevent Kith society from destroying itself. These disruptions would not be necessary were mortal instinct not so diseased.
Endurance.
You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain, 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
Whatever desire I had to be redeemed in her eyes was weakness, purged by the Watcher's sight.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Thaos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe, and I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
So now he tests all of the companions to see if he can turn some of the companions against you. Which will not happen in my case, because we did all of the quests.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent, and not just from the pox. I understand your Duke's bells gave you a mission.
Their orders do not absolve me of my greater responsibility to the safety and well-being of the Republics.
You might want to skip this one. Don't want to pick a
Yet
fight
you
you can't
disobeyed.
win.
Something you already have a reputation for. They will know, of course. If it had been for a worthy cause, they might have forgiven you. But I don't see them pursuing animancy after seeing what it's done here. They trusted you, and you disappointed, as you always have. And you will again be disowned.
The parents scold, but the children are safe. Whether animancy research continues in the Republics or not, they will survive. For now, that's enough. In any case, I wouldn't be so smug about my fate, Thaos. I imagine Woodica responds to disappointment much more severely than even my dukes.
State your name and purpose, young acolyte.
My name belongs to the gods, in my hand to their service. And I'm going to purge it of your stain.
You serve none but yourself. Without contact with your order, you can have no higher purpose. Only the base concerns of the flesh. You have cast yourself from our ranks.
No. I've risen above them. I'll take the leaden key and lead in a way that you, who remained nothing more than a slave to the gods, never could.
A leader without insight, directing an organization that does not question. Quite a vision, Initiate. And the lost gift-bearer. You have been many things in this life, all because you fear what you really are.
I know what I am, and it's the searching that got me there.
But it was the promise of redemption that led you down that course. Where would you be if you thought all was lost?
What a pity. You must not think much of people if you feel like we're all so hopeless.
Or perhaps I have merely witnessed the alternative. You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives.
So much from him.
I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
One of us gonna die in this room. You may as well admit you lied to me before that.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
Żeno! Dođi čas. You lied to everyone, yourself most of all.
I have no illusions about the costs involved. But what your brief lifespan obscures is that it is what must be done. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Tolosis into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
And this is supposed to diminish the damage you've done here.
It is to show the proper perspective. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our god's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
The spark of false hope.
There is no false hope. Only hope for things that never come. Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves. But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
Better dead than to live in a lie.
Telling yourself each day that what you do matters, that it isn't all for nothing, that the world is just. The apostate's world is built on believing lies. All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way.
You're blind to think yours is the only way. You're controlled by your own doubts.
We are all controlled by our own doubts. Better that we should be relieved of them. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid. Roak 10!
Woodica's judge, Woodica's headsman. Thaos. Huge immunities. as fuck.
We're losing.
Don't believe I'll need consumables for this. I should have controlled him from the start.
This is.
Fuck now.
Death.
Indeed. Yes.
Ish, knocked out. Oh, let's do the dragon meat. God damn, it's harder than I thought. I'm gonna deal with those statues first. Not with Thaos. No, I don't have dragon meat. Am I for real? Oh well. I easily don't have dragon meat. Get one piece.
What is it? What is it?
deal with the statues. Where is that? Damn Thaos.
You are... How did you find it? Another in a string. Then she should have obeyed. What of your yet but I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like so? I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little. I have. It is. But more than that, it tell all I have seen. The millennia of experience. We are with you. Roach 10!
Strong motherfucker. These statues are the strongest. Pretty sure. I brought Thaos down. But statues are the problem.
Some improvement.
What is... What? Well...
Hi.
It'll be nicer in the next life. Tides will
Invulnerable until those buffs expire.
Will do.
Completely invulnerable until the buffs expire. I need to remove buffs from here. And to keep the rent safe.
Yes.
With upscaling, he is
How
the
did you
hardest
find
boss in the
it?
game.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason. Then she should have obeyed. What? Yet, oh, you. Yet you. But oh. I answered your questions once. That your soul, when plague arrived at the great city, but all that changed when they did. But more than that, tell all I have seen, the millennium. Roak 10! Breathe.
job.
Ah, that
Will do.
What is... That...
fear we've lost the angry one.
Dear God, man. It was really tough.
That's the servant down, and the mistress still to go. A good start, worthy of being built upon.
In his own way, Thaos must have truly believed he was caring for the people of Aora, protecting them from themselves. A shame his soul won't have a chance to reflect on his errors before it enters the wheel.
What changed on this attempt compared to the previous one? Aside from me juking him all over the spot until I killed those Woodica statues, I also tried to reduce his resists this time instead of buffing myself and everyone around. So I reduced his defenses. I was keeping all of the spells to reduce his defenses so I can actually hit him. Because I've seen like 4%, 6% to hit. On the previous try was like, holy shit, let's get it at least on 20% to hit. No matter with whom, at least on 20. And for that I needed Durance alive, so he can do that shit and a lot to reduce his defenses. And I had to cast against Confusion AoE, because if he casts Confusion, the fight is literally over. And Alot had to have Bulwark, so he cannot get one-shotted. But he is definitely, out of all big bosses in a game, out of the Double Dragons and Langrat, out of the, I don't know, Kraken, Radiant Spore, Alpine Dragon, Adra Dragon, Sky Dragon, all of the main bosses, Thaos is definitely the hardest one on upscaling Path of the Damned. And I would say after Thaos, it would be Kaoto, Hayabot Kaoto, as the second hardest fight. The third would be the Radiant Spore. The fourth would be the Spores in Odnua, Mushrooms in Odnua. And then I would say the fifth fight would be Lengrad, but for me it was quite easy because of the wall. But definitely Thaos is the hardest fight. Beating the final boss, yeah. Kraken was the most disappointing fight in a game, because it's the final boss of the DLC. It should have been as strong as Thaos. Yeah. So he goes into top 5, but it's not even in top 20 fights. It's not even in top 50 fights in a game. Kraken fight. That's how easy it was. But Thaos is easily the hardest. And definitely closely followed by Kaoto, because it took me like 3 attempts on Thaos, and it took me 3 attempts on Hayabot Kaoto. Those monks are fucking nuts. Although I only used 1 consumable. Probably the fight is a bit easier if you use all consumables, because you got 4 slots. That's 24 consumables. So I guess then it's way much easier. This is without consumables. I know that consumables are important. I'm trying to do it literally without, and I did. Okay, like 99.99% of content without consumables. Yeah. I never used Chill Fog. Didn't have time to use Chill Fog. All in all, great fight. Can it be easier than this? Yeah, if you cast enough and if you use enough consumables, but I'm keeping this result without.
At some point, you have to look at the things your god is telling you to do and ask yourself if it's worth it.
All those lives. And at the end of them, he was no better than the very people he sought to guide. A pity.
Can't help but feel sorry for him. To live so long without a fresh start, with no chance to wonder what's around the corner.
We're in Thaos' soul. Return him to the cycle. You will remember this. Remember that no man can hide the truth forever, and all you've done was done in futility. Your memory shall be your penance. I do not envy you. I, of all people, realize the sway of memories can hold. It is the time you were granted peace. What are the consequences here with Thaos for Pillars 2? Anyone knows the consequences, so I'll know what to pick now for the Pillars 2 save. Banish his soul. There can be no forgiveness for your deeds, only justice. You shall escape judgment no longer. Destroy all memories contained within. Your memory makes you a slave to your own past. Perhaps it can be undone, but it can be forgotten. I shall trouble neither of us any longer. You caused me great suffering. You do not deserve to exist. Tear his soul apart. I mean, he is like extremely evil, so he does deserve some fitting punishment. Tear his soul apart. You do not deserve to exist. You reach out for his soul, you can feel its frailty in defeat, its texture like a coarse and threadbare cloth on the brink of disintegration. You insinuate yourself between the threads, pushing the weaving part, unraveling the stitching until it's bereft of structure, a formless heap bound together by nothing at all. The idea is shatter. You concentrate, as you concentrate, you feel a force building within your soul, an outward pressure that strains against containment, threatening to rupture your spirit. When you can contain it no more, you transfer it to Thaos' soul all at once and release it there, a detonation of will that expands in all directions, driving out the remnants of his essence, scattering it into nothingness. You can feel his presence no more. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke when you were one with Thaos in ancient memory. You realize it is the word that activates the machine.
Indeed.
Well?
astounding. I always knew the Leaden Key stood for something big, but I didn't quite realize what I'd gotten myself into. And now, you're in the middle of something even bigger. With a decision that will affect millions.
Just take a piss. Let's see the epilogue. It was a phenomenal game.
This is beyond either of us. The certainty of the gods is a mercy. Power like this is a heavy burden. Just look at how it crushed Thaos. Perhaps he was right to surrender it to Werglia.
Thaos was wrong.
It's your decision, of course. And whatever you decide, I'm glad our paths crossed in Gilded Vale.
Thaos, he had hold of your soul from a long time back, seems like. You get what you needed from him?
I got justice.
Not many can say that these days. Not with the gods using the world to settle their problems. You'll be feeling better soon then. Good. That's real good. You got it figured out what you're going to do about all that? Not yet. Got a lot of people out there thinking they've been abandoned by their gods. There's not much that'll put the fear in you more than that. You can take my word for it.
If it was in my power, and I know it's not, but if it was, I'd find a way to give them the courage to face it. Not because they think there's some god looking out for them, but because they've just got it in them.
After what you've been through, though, I'm sure you got your own ideas. Better make it good.
So much for Thaos, then. Now you have a chance to set things right. Back to the proper order of things. It will take the Deerwood generations to recover. But at least these souls will find their way back to the wheel, as it should be.
Ah, the end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were a field in need of a flames cleansing. Would that my own trial had produced such an outcome. I had figured myself for the field all this time. But you were the field, and I the darkness. A lesson neither of Durance nor of Margarin. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
Who killed Thaos? He doesn't say.
What is it?
Maybe a summon. The end. Speak the command to activate the machine. Send the souls back into the reincarnation cycle. Return the souls to the bodies they were intended for. Entropically disintegrate the souls, ending their existence. Distribute the essence to existing souls in Deerwood to strengthen them. Disperse the souls to an unknown location. Unknown location is Vale. Existing souls, to strengthen them, is that god of hunt, Galavain. Disintegrate the souls. What would that be? Vudika. Return the souls to the bodies they were intended for is Hilea. Or Berat. Hilea is send the souls back in the reincarnation cycle. Return to will is Berat, eh? Return to bodies is Hilea. And what I gain for Pillars 2 depends on the choice. Return the souls to the bodies they were intended for. Are you sure that send the souls back is Hilea and return the souls to the bodies they were intended for is Berat, or it's vice versa? I'll pick one out of those two, but what is what? Reincarnation is Berat. Reincarnation is Berat. Uh-huh. Let's go with reincarnation.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Thaos used to enter Sun in Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Thaos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the lost souls of the Hollowborn were funneled back into the churn of Bareth's wheel to find their way into new vessels and partake in the life they had been denied during Weidwyn's legacy. Though parents of Hollowborn would remain just that, the end of Weidwyn's legacy would bring about a spate of new, healthy births, with many of the infants bearing souls once meant for Hollowborn children. The natural cycle of life and death had been restored to Deerwood, and with it came a renewed faith in the providence of the gods. Helia, who had expected the souls to be returned to the Hollowborn, was infuriated by your duplicity. The goddess of motherhood demanded new births in compensation, and made a bargain with Bareth to trade death for new life. The skies of Deerwood darkened, blotted with swarms of birds and other winged creatures, called together to claim what the Sky Mother believed to be hers by right. For months, the people of Deerwood were forced to stay under shelter for fear of the vicious, unexplained attacks from the sky. The incidents left entire villages decimated and littered the streets of Defiance Bay with corpses covered in 1,000 puncture wounds. Lord Radric's zeal had brought him back to life once, but it would not do so again. Radric's destruction at your hands spelled the end of his suffocating rule over Gilded Vale and the surrounding area. In his absence, the village prospered, becoming a popular destination for new settlers anxious to leave Defiance Bay after the riots. Without a nearby ruler, it also grew more wild, with many settlers moving on as soon as they'd arrived, turned off by lawlessness that was excessive even by Deerwooden standards. Nevertheless, despite the challenges of living there, Gilded Vale had survived, and would continue to survive for the foreseeable future. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible, who, despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in unraveling Weidwyn's legacy. They were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle. Having seen both the ills and the promise of animancy, internally the Knights quietly began a more cautious exploration of the new science. Depleted in numbers but bolstered by their newly forged stock of soul-augmented weaponry and a small contingent of forged knights, the Knights of the Crucible would soon become an order few in Defiance Bay would dare to cross. But the opportunity to build upon their newfound power proved too great a temptation for the High Justice. What was at first a measured approach to animancy soon gave way to a rapid buildup of armaments. The High Justice would eventually seize control of the city for his order and place Defiance Bay under indefinite martial law. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds, it would be some time before it was fully repopulated. But eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay, and few animancers survived the first day. Many Deerwoodens took the end of Weidwyn's legacy as a sign, both that the gods did not approve of animancy, and that the purging of animancers in Defiance Bay had been enough to satisfy them. In time, their rage would subside, and a number of surviving animancers remained in and around Defiance Bay, often taking to the wilds to practice their science without repercussions. Abidun's renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor. Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abidun's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Glanfath rose. As for Stalwart, the Battle of Kairon's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan steel and build new marvels with the White Forge. However, Stalwart's ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens, as more and more impoverished communities gathered at the border and vowed to finish the work of the Iron Flail. It would be many generations before the region saw peace. The Flames That Whisper clan found a cautious peace with Stalwart, particularly once the villagers heard of the aid the ogres had offered against the Eyeless. The clan moved back into the Russet Wood, and as Stalwart grew in prestige, the villagers formed a tighter alliance with their ogre neighbors. Within a generation, ogre traders visited Stalwart, and village hunters were welcome in the Russet Wood. Harmka's death had brought the Devil of Carrick little satisfaction. In time, her taste for vengeance soured. What replaced it was a hunger to feel something, anything, new. Summer had thinned the snowpack twice over when she felt the joint at her elbow first begin to stiffen. She turned her back on the hopes of animancy and civilization and walked east. She pushed through the mountains, past Raid Ceres, and into the broad plains of Ishamiddle. She had forgotten what it was like to simply journey, no goal or destination in mind. Though she felt nothing more than the steady thump of her feet on the road, the endless horizons and grassy meadows were new to her. She measured her time in the gradual rusting of her body and was satisfied. Her movements slowed, but so did the world around her. Waist-high grasses undulated and tacked in the wind, as gradual as the tides. Sparrows and blackjays made steady pilgrimages across the sky, each flap of their wings a solemn salute. She could hardly move when she found something she had never seen before, the ocean. With the last of her strength, she pulled herself beneath the water, content at last to feel the movement of currents and the constant caress of the waves. Zawa came to believe that the Dakan had survived through him. He returned to Ishamiddle, where he united a number of small, vulnerable tribes under the beliefs of his people. He called them Takanakin, kin of Takan, and under his tutelage, they became strong enough to resist would-be conquerors. Zawa taught his secrets not to one chosen person, but to all, that the line of knowledge might never be broken. Once Maneha had made peace with her memory, she decided the time had come to face her more recent past. For the first time in decades, she returned home to Rawatai, and she found that it had changed as much as she had. New districts had sprung up along the coast, while others withered into crumbling husks, and the streets had changed their course as surely as rivers. Her parents wept with joy at her return. They still ran the old spice shop, and in its many aromas and flavors, she found memories of the places she'd traveled and the people she'd known. She told her story, bottle by bottle, and began to build a life on the soil she knew best. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. After the death of the Master below, a strange quiet fell over the endless paths of Adnua. The attacks on the fortress above ceased, Adnua's silent titan the closest remaining thing to a master in its musty, forgotten passages. Palagina had gone against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Weidman's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Pallegina was banished from the Republics. She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers. Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like an outsider wherever she went. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Still most comfortable far from cities, he settled in Deerford, which, like many towns in the Deerwood, was beginning the slow process of rebuilding. Believing now that it was the obligation of Kith to be the leaders their gods had not, Adair was soon named mayor of the town, and under his guidance, Deerford soon began to prosper. He expelled the last of the Scanites from the area and drew new settlers with the offer of land, a trick he had learned from someone he otherwise preferred to forget. With each passing day, Deerford would come to more closely resemble the Gilded Vale of Adair's childhood, the one worthy of its name. When the dust settled in sun and shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Thaos Ix Arcanon, his former master. He saw where the Grandmaster had gone wrong, and he knew what he would do better. The secret of the gods would be preserved, and with it, the sanity and well-being of all Kith. He donned the remains of Thaos' ceremonial garb, and prepared himself for the long and lonely task ahead. With the Watcher's goals accomplished, and his own vows fulfilled, Kanarua sailed back to Tekoa. His friends and family found him much changed, for a pall had fallen upon the man, smothering his former enthusiasm. Called before the Lore College, Kana told them of the pain the Engwithan legacy brought to the lands abroad. He insisted that a search for answers abroad could only fragment the Rawatai people, as it had done to the Deerwood. His findings were met with much respect, and Kanarua's voice came to be considered an influential one in the growing move towards Rawatai's isolation. With Thaos defeated and the souls released from sun and shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood, and a measure of grace for her own troubled past. Durrance used Magrin's strength only until Thaos had been cast from the world, and then swore off her influence entirely. Regret came to weigh heavily on his mind, and a man who had never previously lacked for words or opinions came to embrace silence and contemplation. He continued to wander, penniless and destitute, searching now not for the reason for his goddess's silence, but for a mechanism for revenge. The charred robes he continued to wear as a reminder that he had been burned by his goddess, and not just by the flames of the Godhammer. Sagani experienced the 4 months of her journey back to Masuk in vivid colors. She strove to memorize every moment of her final trip through the Deerwood, Erglonfoth, the Valian Republics, and beyond, preparing to tell her village of what she had seen on her long journey. All of Masuk shared in her triumph, and she felt her pride and elation magnified by the joy of her village. Never again did she doubt the value of her sacrifices. After decades as a long hunter, Sagani finally became one of Masuk's most respected elders. She guided her community with wise counsel, and a generation after she finally passed, another huntress journeyed into the world to find her soul. For you, the death of Thaos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead.
$104 hours. Exactly 104 hours. It's how long it took to finish the game. That's 103. Okay. My bad. 103. It was fun. It was really fun. And we did it all. I haven't skipped a single quest. Now to answer. No, I won't play Pillars 2 next. But I will play Pillars 2 in time. I'm gonna keep the save. And we'll see. Yeah, I just keep Hiravias because I hate druids. For me, is Thaos chaotic evil or lawful evil or neutral evil? It's definitely not chaotic. Thaos is everything but chaotic. It was a good run. It was a great run. I enjoyed every minute of this run. No, the next game that I'll play is gonna be Red Dead Redemption 1 for PC. That's what I'm gonna play next. But it's only gonna be like 3-4 hours a day until I'm done with Pillars content. I need to finish everything there is with Pillars now. And that's gonna take like at least 2 more weeks. In that time, I'll play Red Dead. When I find time for it. I'm working on Pillars. I've been working the entire day on Pillars. And that's gonna be it for tonight. And next stream tomorrow, same time as today, so evening time. I'll start in around 18-19 hours from now, and we're gonna play a bit of Red Dead Redemption 1. People, thanks for watching. I wish you all good night, and I'll be seeing you back tomorrow.